I've got good news and bad news, and I don't care which one you want first because I've already made the decision for you. I know the optimal order is always good before the bad. So big group hug in the shower tonight, let's hold hands and enter the smile zone together. One of the most annoying and degenerate pranksters the internet has spawned in recent memory has just been sentenced to 18 weeks in jail. His name is Mizzy, and for about a month he rose to internet infamy by doing some outrageously awful pranks. Basically, he'd just commit crimes and laugh about them while filming it, or he'd just make everyone's lives around him miserable. Just this plague of agony that swept through his local community to make everything a bit worse. I won't go through his entire resume of cringe, I'll just go ahead and give you some of his most embarrassing garbage, although in his eyes, this is his magnum opus, these are his greatest hits. So the big one that made him pop off online is when him and his friends would walk into random people's houses to just frighten them, literally just kind of breaking and entering. Then there was this one where he stole a woman's dog at the park and ran away with the dog. And then of course, who could forget the timeless classics, his iconic series here, where he would go up to strangers and ask them if they want to die. Him and his equally pathetic friends would occasionally put on ski masks and run up on strangers, ambushing them, trying to block their way, asking them if they want to die over and over again. So overall, pretty high quality, harmless, gut-busting comedy here from one of the most brain-rotted, clout-poisoned, delusional, attention-starved worms TikTok has ever seen. Mizzy was able to get his name out there for about a month with a lot of people dunking on him, clowning on him, roasting him. He didn't really have fans except for like maybe 7 or 8 year olds that just liked the idea of being disruptive. But outside of that, it was everyone collectively just spitting on him. And then he landed an interview on a major television network where he made an absolute fucking fool of himself, and pretty much overnight, like a fart into the wind, his online presence vanished. Well, kind of. Everyone figured out the garlic to this vampire. The one weakness every clout-obsessed turbo loser has. Being ignored. Not getting attention. Collectively, most people just stopped paying attention to Mizzy altogether. He was just this little nuisance that would buzz around occasionally, pester people, and they just kind of disregard it. No one was talking about him anymore. It took away all of his power, like Voldemort's name. Like, no one cared anymore about how many times Mizzy would do something that would get himself arrested. They'd just be like, oh, okay, moving on. It's like pee into a public pool. You expect it, and it's gross, sure, but at the end of the day, out of sight, out of mind, you move on pretty quickly. So Mizzy stopped getting attention, and after this month of infamy, everyone forgot about him. But you know who didn't? The law. You see, Mizzy this entire time has still been striving to reclaim that former glory, which is so pathetic that he considers it success when really it's anything but. What he believes is his career would be anyone else's unimaginable shame. He lives in such a distorted reality that he believes everyone shitting on him is a good thing. For him, people just knowing his name is a W. That's a big fucking victory royale right there. Whereas the only reason people know his name is because everyone dislikes him. Like, his whole presence, his whole existence is to be disliked by people, and he is proud of it. That is a nightmarish way of living in this fucking world. I can't believe it, but that's whatever. It's his life, I suppose. If he wants to ruin it, by all means. So anyway, that brings us to today, where he has now been sentenced to 18 weeks in jail. He went to trial last month where he was found guilty on 2 charges of breaching a court order. And this court order is actually the most lenient shit imaginable. Basically, it asked him to stop filming people without their consent and posting it online. But this guy is an addict. Like, he can't stop scratching at his fucking neck to violate people's privacy, harass them, and then post it online for his content. He just has this inability to stop himself from being an insufferable asshole. This was the easiest court order ever issued. It was basically a don't be a douchebag order, and he failed. So now he's got 18 weeks detention in a young offender institution, and the judge told him, put bluntly, your pranks are not funny. Which I think is a beautiful thing to say from the judge. Just scathing right to his face, cutting right to the core. Just like, hey, listen, just to be honest, you suck. Like, I need you to understand me here. You're trash. Like, you are actual ass. Your pranks are horrible. I don't know how you sleep at night. You're bad. Like, I think that is just so beautiful in how frank he is with that. So then he said that the 19-year-old's pranks were motivated by a desire to be famous and to receive money and designer clothes from sponsors, which is something Mizzy himself said, which is pathetic, truly just sad. And then the judge continues, your actions caused innocent members of the public significant harm and distress. You claimed on national television the law was weak, and now 18 weeks in the slammer for it all. I will say, I wish they had went a little bit harder here. This is someone who has shown no remorse over any of this, and after he gets out, I have no doubt he's going right back to this behavior. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever. I even made a video 5 months ago going over just how little he gives a fuck about any punishment that might come his way. He's not going to let it stop him from just being a complete douchebag loser. So even though he'll spend 18 weeks in this detention facility, he's not going to stop this. This is all he seems to want to do with his life, is make everyone else's life more miserable and film it. So I don't think anything's going to change in the time that he'll spend away from society. I think he will come back and be just as annoying and degenerate as ever. That's my bold prediction on it, but no matter what, it is still good news, though, that he is finally receiving some kind of actual consequences for these actions. I think that is good news. That's something to make you smile. Now I'd like to give you some bad news. Colleen Ballinger is back. Colleen Ballinger made another apology video. This time, there's no music to it.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I've really missed this. I've missed talking to everyone every single day. Obviously, the last video that I posted on here, it's really embarrassing, to say the least. I was being accused of some pretty awful things, and I just was mad, and I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy, but instead I just let my ego take over, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
Now, it's been quite a few months since this whole thing happened. Colleen Ballinger, Miranda Sings, was accused of communicating very inappropriately with underage fans, talking about some really weird stuff with them, a lot of very not good things going on in some group chats with them. I'm not just going to go over the entire situation. I covered it back then. Tons of people did. But what ended up happening is, after all of these accusations came to light, she responded with a ukulele musical number that I think she was striving for a Grammy, which unfortunately she wasn't nominated for. She made a song, a real song to make you wiggle your finger to, called The Toxic Gossip Train, where she didn't address anything really, or like disprove any of the claims or defend herself. She just made a song. So this is now quite a few months later. She's now coming out and saying that that whole thing was embarrassing and that, you know, she regrets the way she handled it, should have handled it with maturity. But I'm going to say, you should never regret writing The Toxic Gossip Train. That song took the Billboard charts by storm. You made a bop. Like, what you should be apologizing for is what you've actually been accused of, and then actually maybe try and talk about that instead, as opposed to your ukulele song. Like, that's not the big problem here. That's not the huge stain that needs to be addressed. Yeah, the ukulele song was a bafflingly cringe decision to do that, but the real thing here, the actual meat, is about all the accusations with the way that you've communicated with minors over the years, and the group chats and like the sexual conversations you had with them about really awful and very weird things. That's what you need to actually talk about.
Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate with some of my comedy, and there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions, and because of that behavior, people got hurt, and I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel so terrible about that. I also feel like there's probably people who are disappointed or feel abandoned by me because of my silence over the last few months, and I'm so sorry about that as well.
And this is just missing the mark, in my opinion. You're just giving a very vague response to a very specific set of awful allegations. By just delivering this blanketed, I went too far with my comedy, made some mistakes, hurt people, I'm sorry, you're not really doing anything besides just trying to move on from this as quickly as possible and hope that the bare minimum here is enough for an audience to stick with you. After she posted this fall vlog, she's now posted an additional, I think, 3 or 4 videos since now. She's doing daily posting again. So to me, this all just seems like, fine, I'll just reluctantly say I'm sorry. Hopefully an audience will stick around for a little bit, and I'm just going to start bombarding them with a ton of content to flood the rest of this out so that way people can just forget about it. That to me is what this comes across as. The accusations that have been made against her, as well as a lot of the things that have been brought to the public eye, are pretty awful. Like, it's not something that you can just, like, you know, wipe away with a statement like, it was just comedy that went too far and it was a mistake. Because, like, it doesn't seem like there was anything comedic about it, or even, like, supposed to be comedic about some of the things that have come out. It's just, like, pretty deplorable. Like, I feel like it warrants more of a direct tackling of what has been discussed and talked about. You know, like, just a more thorough explanation, I think, is warranted for the victims that have been affected by what you've done. This just seems very, like, I don't know the right word, but it seems very disingenuous and sincere, perhaps, where it's just trying to do as little as possible so you can continue to try and have your Colleen Vlogs channel do daily content and have an audience.
So I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that I create a positive, kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content. And if you want to be a part of my journey online, I would love to have you. And if not, I completely understand. I do not expect anyone to welcome me back with open arms. I don't expect to change anyone's mind with this video. I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm sorry, and I wanted to try to show people that it's possible for someone to grow and learn and be better after making mistakes many, many years ago. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to vlog again, and today I'm just gonna...
I cut out a little section in the middle there where she was talking about how, first and foremost, she's a mother, and she was explaining why she hasn't spoken on this sooner, and also that she's been trying to listen and learn from everything with what everyone's been saying. And then eventually it leads to this, where she talks about how she doesn't expect to change anyone's mind, but she hopes that she can try and prove that you can make up for past mistakes, and her path forward is vlogging. So then she transitions this apology into a vlog, which I think is a really weird decision to make. I don't know why you wouldn't make this 2 videos. I mean, maybe because the apologies is only like 3 minutes long and it's not specific, and it still doesn't even directly talk about any of the accusations. It just tiptoes around all of it. It really feels like the apology is more of like an avoidance thing, where she can just loosely talk around the subject and say that she's sorry for it, without ever needing to explain herself or what happened or her actions or intentions or anything behind all of it. So it really seems like the intention was get the I'm sorries out and hope the audience is receptive to it and will stick around to watch the vlogs. And her gamble paid off. She was right. She knew her audience. If you read the comments, it's nothing but overwhelming support for her, and the views on her vlogs are great. So yeah, I'm still a bit stunned by the comments here. A lot of them are saying, this is what you should have said to begin with. We forgive you now. Now we understand. It's all good. What the fuck? She still didn't say anything. Like, did you even watch the video? She still said nothing. It's like, the second she said, I'm sorry, everything else went out the window as if it never even existed. She has still not even said anything about any of the actual accusations or anything about it. She just loosely said, ooh, those jokes didn't land. Bit of a mistake, and I know people got hurt. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I guess she doesn't need to. She will, I suppose, continue to do just fine here without ever actually talking about all of these things. I really don't think you can just write off a lot of what's come out about the way she behaved around minors as just her being a quirky, zany jokester. Like, there's really no way of looking at it in any way that isn't weird. But whatever, I guess. Her audience has moved past it and forgiven her, so she's back to daily vlogging and will probably continue to do just fine. So yeah, I just wanted to give a little update here on some good and some bad news. That's really about it. So yeah. Yeah, so I think the YouTube makeup or beauty community, I'm not sure on the proper nomenclature, is just fucking terrible right now. You can tell just from looking at me that I'm not big into the makeup or beauty world, but I do like to keep my cheeks spread so I can stay updated and filled in on information on YouTube drama, and the makeup and beauty side of all of that never has any shortage of that. Tati Westbrook released another 40-minute video today, which is supposed to be some kind of pseudo-apology and explanation for why she tried to ruin James Charles's life last year. And it's pretty fucking rough. It's like having a hemorrhoid. It's kind of painful. It's pretty boring. Really, the only purpose this video would serve is if you have insomnia and need help falling asleep. It is unnecessarily long. Like, this whole thing could have been summarized in 1 or 2 tweets if she wanted to. I don't really know why it's 40 minutes long. And it's her reading a legal statement that she's prepared, and it's pretty fucking painful. It's like she's reading the terms and conditions when signing up to Spotify. In fact, I wish it was just 40 minutes of Tati reading the terms and conditions when signing up to Spotify. It'd be more genuine and engaging. This has every cliche of a YouTuber apology, a lot of fake crying, and a lot of passing the blame and deflecting. She keeps talking about how terrible Shane and Jeffrey were for this whole thing, and that it's really just kind of mainly their fault and she was just an innocent victim of their manipulation. But really the whole video just feels pretty manipulative from her here as well. I'll show you an excerpt, a couple excerpts from it, just so you get an idea of what the entire 40 minutes is like.
I promised my dad I wasn't gonna cry. I've been trying to feel... Can't do this. I've been trying to feel strong enough to do this video because I want to feel strong. I never said that James Charles was a danger to society. My video was not made with any malice.
But you did. That was the whole purpose of your video last year, was painting James Charles as a menace to society and some kind of evil supervillain. You saying you didn't post that video with malice is like me saying 5'6" isn't short for a man. It's just a lie. It's a lie I'm telling myself, and I've convinced myself. I know I'm short, Tati. You don't need to rub it in. This whole video is just useless. It's been nearly a full year since you soaked up roughly 5 million subscribers off your video lying about James Charles. Why are you coming forward with this now? What the fuck is the point? Handle it privately. It is a matter that should have been handled privately. But for some reason, there's so many huge egos in this beauty and makeup community where they have to feel like everyone loves them and they present themselves as this perfect person, this benevolent ruler of all things beauty related. So she felt compelled to make this video to try and put herself in the best light. Like, hey, look at me taking responsibility for this thing that happened a long time ago. Look at how good of a person I am.
I did not publicly air any of the horrific accusations that were being made behind the scenes. While I was definitely upset that he had accepted a sponsorship from the biggest rival to my brand, Halo Beauty, I did not make my video because of vitamins. I made it as a result of all of the poisonous lies that were fed to me by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star.
Yeah, this is what I think the actual purpose of this video is, just to deflect blame off of herself and place it onto Shane and Jeffree. I didn't want to make that video about James Charles. I was manipulated into it by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. They were the puppet masters, and I was simply the marionette dancing for them. They fed me these poisonous lies, and I had no choice but to make this video lying about James Charles of my own free will, and post it of my own free will. It's just silly. Tati is nearly 40 years old, and she knows what she's doing. She knew what she was doing with the James Charles situation, and I really think the only reason she's made this video breaking her silence about all of it is because right now Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star are getting absolutely annihilated, just straight fucking blasted for a ton of terrible, awful things they've done in their past, and Tati wanted to dogpile on top of it to score some subscribers off of the drama and present herself as the good person in the situation. How she was innocent in the James Charles case because she was getting fed lies by these two people who everyone hates right now. But that excuse doesn't really work because the thing you were initially mad about in your first video was the fact James Charles took a different vitamin sponsor than your company or whatever the fuck you sell, vitamin C cream to rub on the rim of your asshole to improve hearing. I don't know what the fuck your businesses do. But you were mad because he didn't go with your business and instead looked elsewhere, so you felt personally attacked, and wasn't that like one of the main points you made? That has nothing to do with any lies Shane and Jeffree may have fed you. That was entirely your decision to make that like the focal point of the last video on why you were so mad at him. At least I think. It is so hard to even know what the fuck the drama is with Tati. Watching her 40-minute videos here is like having a mediocre dream where you wake up and can only remember bits and pieces of it. By the time you finish one of these Tati videos, you forget you even watched the video. It's like you got hit by a Men in Black neuralizer and just forgot the whole thing. It is so fucking boring, and she's terrible at even making her points clear on what she's trying to say or what is even actually going on. It just seems all so vague. And in this video, she doesn't take really any responsibility. She says I'm sorry multiple times, but none of it even feels real because it's sandwiched in between. But remember, Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star are bad, and they made me do these bad things. And her having these fake crying episodes in the apology and saying things like, I'm sorry, Dad, I promised you I wouldn't cry. I promised my dad I wouldn't cry? What the fuck? You called your dad on the phone? Hey, Dad, you remember that time that I tried to ruin the life of a young man? Yeah, well, I'm finally going to apologize for that, kind of, and look, I'm going to do my best not to cry. I'm going to try and be strong, alright? For most people, Tatty, saying I'm sorry isn't a feat of strength and bravery. It's common courtesy as a fucking human being to take responsibility for something. I've never understood the perspective where people pat someone on the back for saying I'm sorry or that they're wrong. I think that should just be human nature. When you are wrong about something, you say, look, I fucked up, and this was wrong. Okay, good. That should be what's expected. You can say thank you. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you took some responsibility. But to make it feel like it's some kind of Herculean task to say you're sorry is just such a bad look. The makeup community is just so full of narcissists. Tatty starts this video like, hey, I know you guys haven't seen me in a little while, even though it's only been like a month and a half. Hey, I know you guys have missed me so much because I'm so great. And look, I'm really sorry you haven't seen as much of me as you want to see of me, and you deserve to see more of me. And then she gets into the video. It's just, I just don't get it. I don't understand why people in the makeup and beauty community follow people like this that clearly just don't even care about them and just view them as a number or a sale on their makeup. And even in this fucking apology video, I think she shouts out her own brands at least like 10 or 12 times. I honestly felt like I was just watching a long-winded infomercial or some kind of meta commercial to sell her products or something. It just doesn't sit right with me. If you're gonna apologize for something and you need to mention a brand, just say my company. Why do you have to shout out the fucking brand and what you do and what your mission is? I'm not trying to read the about section on your goddamn vitamin website. Just say, look, this is the company, this is what happened, and I'm sorry. But instead she goes into this like fucking almost sales pitch like I'm on Shark Tank about to invest in it or something. It's just, I don't know, I don't get it, man. I don't understand. And I don't know why it has to be 40 minutes every time with her. I guess just to milk as much revenue out of it as possible. Couldn't tell you. Have no idea. But I fucking sat through this fucking thing and it felt like a goddamn crime. I honestly feel like wasting someone's time like this, it should be illegal. 40 minutes worth of nothing. Nothing but deflecting blame and insincerely taking responsibility almost in certain areas. I don't know. Makeup community and the beauty community's got some real bad actors in it. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah.
This episode was brought to you by Opera GX.
We all love YouTuber apologies, and if you're thinking to yourself, Charlie, I don't like YouTuber apologies, well then you're lying to yourself, and more importantly, you're lying to me and you make me sick to my fucking stomach, make me want to spit. Everybody loves YouTuber apologies. It's a timeless classic and a staple on the internet. Nobody says I'm sorry more than YouTubers. YouTubers apologize more than a child whose parents just caught him with his hand in the cookie jar. So today I'll be looking at some famous YouTuber apologies and slapping them on a tier list, so get a box of tissues out because some of these are real tear jerkers. The first apology we'll be looking at is actually historically significant. It is the Fine Brothers React apology. This was kind of the progenitor of YouTube apologies and really set the bar low, extremely low, for every apology that would soon follow, and it really just kind of kicked everything off, really the genesis of YouTubers apologizing. Now, the Fine Brothers React channel is kind of like a fossil these days, because luckily people have finally stopped watching that god-awful show. And in 2016, the Fine Brothers were at the height of their popularity. The React series is basically where they just take random people, kids, teens, adults, sit them down and show them memes, and then ask them one question, what did you think of the video? And that's the entire show, and it went on for years, and it used to be super popular when the internet was still this magical, mystical thing nobody understood. And the Fine Brothers, in all of their greed, with little dollar signs in their eyes like Mr. Krabs, decided, let's copyright this. The Fine Brothers themselves are personality-less androids, and when they saw the YouTube community start to react to content, they began to panic and get a little swamp ass going in their diaper with cold sweat. So they did what they thought was the only play they could do. try and capitalize off it by copywriting the React format, because all they have is the React format, because they can't rely on themselves actually like being entertaining, so they just pull in random people to react to shit. And react is the wrong word, because the people just sit there silently and then say, yep, video was good. It's dog shit. I've never liked the React series, but that's what they had. And when other people were reacting to videos and adding personality to them, they wanted to get their fingers into that pie. So they wanted to copyright it, and you'd have to go through them for their React format, they called it. And it just led to this whole big mess where the internet was outraged. Like, how can you trademark and copyright reacting to something and making jokes about something? Like, they don't own that. And in their announcement about it with React World, they just used very vague terms, which scared everyone, that made them think they were going to strike down any videos that reacted to anything. And it was just a huge mess. And they never really did a good job explaining it, but they did do an apology where they basically just said it's your fault for not understanding our huge IQ play. And in their apology video, they come off extremely insincere and like Tommy Wiseau levels of acting. The Fine Bros have actually made a movie of their own called F the Prom, and it's a terrible fucking movie, and it looked like this was an audition for roles in the movie from these two. It is really poorly acted, it seems, and it just came across as like 3 minutes of them just blaming the audience. And they even said things like, we should have used simpler analogies to help you better understand what was going on, making it sound like everyone was just so fucking dumb that we couldn't quite comprehend their galaxy brain analogies, and they needed to put it into simpler terms for us, like, oh, imagine React content is the vegetable paste on your mother's spoon, and she's flying the airplane into your mouth, and that mouth is the React world. You know, it was just a garbage apology, and for that, I'm giving it a nice B tier. Because on the tier list of YouTuber apologies, I think this one is historically significant. I genuinely believe this was where it all started. This was the patient zero of YouTuber apologies, and they did an incredible job of setting the tone for how shitty YouTuber apologies would be from this point forward. But one thing you'll never have to feel sorry about is your web browser. I'm talking today about a new browser called Opera GX, which is the first web browser designed for gamers, with gamers at the forefront of every design choice. Now, I'm not saying that using Opera GX is going to improve your KD and make you a world championship in your favorite esports game. I'm just saying if you do happen to improve your KD and become a world champion while using Opera GX, it's probably not a coincidence. Opera GX has a ton of changes to classic web browsers that make it much better for gaming performance. For example, let's say you're kicking back and having a hard gaming session, you have a ton of tabs open on Chrome, some of them are playing music. That can oftentimes lag your game and just tank the performance, but that's not going to happen with Opera GX. With a feature called GX Control, you can have a bunch of tabs open without hurting your gaming performance. The panel lets users limit their CPU or RAM that they're willing to let their browser use. And there's also a network limiter, which limits network bandwidth used by Opera GX so you can gain performance in games and streams. There's Twitch and Discord integration, which allows you to log in directly to those accounts just from the sidebar of the browser. And you can design and customize the Opera GX browser. And another really cool feature is the Force Dark Pages functionality, which just puts pages you visit into dark mode so you're not just blasted by blinding light from some of the pages you visit. So if you're interested in trying Opera GX, you can click the link in the description below to get started. Next up is Tana Mojo. I don't really know why people watch her or what content she even makes. 3 out of every 4 videos she uploads is her apologizing for some more terrible dumb shit that she does. She's pretty much a magnet for every bad decision you can make online put into one person. She's done a lot of racist shit in her past. She had TanaCon, which was a complete disaster where she like rented out a small lobby in a hotel next to a dumpster or something, and then people had to like snake around outside in the scorching heat and people were getting heat stroke. And then when she finally showed up, all she did was like twerk for 30 seconds and leave, and nobody got what they were promised, and it was a terrible disaster. So she apologized for that for like 8 videos, and like 6 of them were a Shane Dawson documentary series on it. I mean, her entire channel is like the Netflix of apologies. It would be impossible to choose one for the tier list. So I'm just going to put Tana Mojo on here as like an actual person, because she is like a singularity for which all drama is sucked in and then turned into a terrible fucking apology. So Tana Mojo is going to sit on this tier list at a comfortable A tier. Tana Mojo is constantly apologizing, giving apology enthusiasts tons of content to work with. She's apologizing for heinous shit that she's done because she continues to do terrible, horrible things. So she's got more terrible and horrible things to apologize for, and she does it horribly. I mean, it is this incredible cycle of continuing to make mistakes, and not taking responsibility for them, but pretending that you kind of did. It's incredible. So when it comes to YouTuber apologies, she is the superstar. Nobody is apologizing more frequently than Tana Mojo, and I don't think that's changing anytime soon. She is holding that world title belt, I imagine, so easily an A-tier YouTube apologizer. Next up, we have Rice Gum's apology for promoting a mystery box company aimed at getting kids to buy a box full of wet farts. You get basically nothing out of the box for a high price, and he fell into some hot water for promoting it. And of course, Rice Gum, being the pathetic worm that he is, makes an apology video where he basically just says it's not a big deal and you guys are wrong for getting outraged, and then gives away some Amazon gift cards that he personally used over a year ago. So he didn't even give away valid Amazon gift cards. The man sucks. This is an easy F tier. Rice Gum himself is like a human F. Everything that man does is an F tier. If a fucking gas station toilet could speak, it would have more interesting things to say than Rice Gum. I've never liked him or his content. I've always found him to be one of the biggest douchebags online, so this one's very easy to just slap there at an F tier. Next up is T. Martin's famous apology for the CSGO Lotto scandal. This involved more than just T. Martin, it also involved Syndicate, and those were really the two big ones here. A huge mess. CSGO Lotto was a gambling site that was used for CSGO and promoted by these people without them ever mentioning that they directly were involved with the site as owners. And when this came to light, I mean, it's a big deal. It's illegal to not disclose that you have an affiliation with that site or an ownership of the site. And there was this huge outrage about it, and T. Martin, in response, makes an apology video where he just brings his dog on, he gives his dog some little nuzzles on the nose, trying to make people seem like, hey, look, I'm human too, I love animal. And then look in the background, I have a fucking monster truck parked outside because I'm richer than you because I scammed your kids on CSGO. It's an apology video where he never takes responsibility. He says that, you know, things like, hey, I made it clear I own the site, I made it clear, even though there's plenty of evidence to prove that it was never disclosed, his actual involvement with the site. And it was just a huge deal, and the apology video is basically just spent with him rubbing wealth in the face of his audience, and again blaming them for not knowing that he and his friends owned it. So it's a great apology video because it does exactly what YouTuber apologies aim to do, which is take no responsibility and blame the audience for being dumb. It seems like most YouTubers think their audiences are the dumbest fucking people on the planet, so when they apologize it really comes out, and T. Martin was pulling no punches with how dumb he thought the people that watch him are. And to be fair, if you're still watching T. Martin, you probably are pretty dumb. T. Martin's apology, I'm putting it a C tier because it's pretty much the epitome of a YouTuber bad apology. It hits all of the beats and tries like bringing a dog in to make it more emotional, which is like some South Park shit. It really went in on being a bad apology. So I think that's definitely a comfortable C tier. Next up, we have one of the most entertaining apology videos, Laura Lee's apology video, where she was apologizing for racist tweets that surfaced from her past. Laura Lee gets on camera and does her absolute best to summon tears from her eyes for 5 minutes. She's trying to be like a tear sorcerer, where she's trying her absolute best to just conjure a little moisture in her eyes to make it seem sincere that she's sorry for whatever she's apologizing for, but she just can't do it. So she does like little fake moans and like tries to wipe her eyes, like scratch her eyes and make them forcefully, you know, leak some water and fluid, but she just can't. So it's 5 minutes of Laura Lee struggling to cry while trying to apologize and say how sorry she is. It is a beautiful disaster of an apology video. Truly one of the best. This, easy S tier. Laura Lee's apology, absolutely an S tier. It is wonderful, and there's really nothing else like it in the apology community on YouTube. It's really some incredible stuff. Next one to slap on the tier list is J Station's apology following the stunt he pulled where he kills his girlfriend, or his girlfriend was dead or something. I've already fucking forgotten. To be honest, all of the J Station shit is so incredibly stale. It was fun at the time, but it's just so played out and tired. I don't even remember his apology, and I don't feel like going back and watching it, to be honest. All I know is that if it's J Station, it's just not interesting, so I'm just going to put this at an F tier. I think that's safe. I don't think there was anything wild about his apology, considering I've totally forgotten its existence until today, and I think F tier just fits. Now we move on to the absolute most popular YouTuber apology that currently exists on the platform. It is Logan Paul's apology for filming a dead man hanging from a tree in the suicide forest. Logan Paul, for those that don't remember, not too long ago, filmed a dead man hanging from a tree and posted it as part of his vlog. Like a sick fuck, he used that as part of the entertainment of the vlog. He'd be like, "Oh, it's a dead body! Whoa, it's a real dead body, guys! Buy the fucking Maverick merch! Woohoo! Maverick merch, baby! Dead man over there!" I'm honestly still surprised he didn't go over there and just start putting Maverick merch on the corpse, to be honest. It was some disgusting shit, and it caused a huge backlash for Logan Paul, and really the platform as a whole. It was just damaging to pretty much everything and everyone around him. So then Logan Paul made an apology in response to it being the most popular apology to ever be posted, where he just says he's made a severe lapse in his judgment and the shit is bad and he's sorry. It was straight, it was to the point, there's really not a whole lot to dig into with the apology itself. It's just the most popular one ever posted with 58 million views, and he's apologizing for perhaps the most disgusting thing anyone's apologized for on YouTube so far, literally filming and making fun of a dead body in a suicide forest. Like, that is super fucked up shit. So the apology itself isn't the most wild or crazy apology. It's just the whole magnitude of the entire situation, I think, leads it to being a B tier at least apology. So I'm thinking B tier for the Logan Paul apology. Next up, we have another big one. This is Social Repose's apology for cheating on another YouTuber named Jacqueline Glenn. And I actually made a video on this one where I called it the worst apology on YouTube. And to be honest, it still just might be. The drama here that he's apologizing for is he cheated on his girlfriend. If I remember correctly, it was multiple instances of cheating on his girlfriend, and his apology was basically not apologizing. If I remember correctly, he didn't even say I'm sorry a single time, and instead kind of put it on to her, saying that she just got too attached. She loved him too much, so he had to fuck somebody else. It is still, to this day, perhaps one of the most unbelievable apologies to ever be posted. It is baffling how anybody could have watched that apology and been like, "Yup, I look pretty good here and I think I've cleared myself up." It's terrible. It is still absolutely fucking horrible, and it is hard to sit through. It really is. So I think this apology from Social Repose deserves an A tier in just how fucking terrible and horrible it is, because it is wild. It is still wild to me that this ever got posted. I'm pretty sure he took it down, but the fact that it was even up for any length of time, it's crazy to me. Next up, we have Tati's recent apology. I think the makeup community drama is extremely boring. Each one of them is making like 40 to 50 minute planet Earth level documentaries about some petty fucking drama that happens, and it is hard to sit through. And Tati's most recent apology was no exception. Unnecessarily long, full of a lot of fake tears and moments of sincerity. It just doesn't work. It was not a good apology, and especially because the entire drama was about her, Jeffree Star, and Shane Dawson attacking James Charles because they wanted to serve him a slice of humble pie, as Shane puts it. It was terrible. All the drama was super fucking dumb. And then Tati comes out of nowhere, like over a year later, talking about, like, "I finally have the strength to go through this. This one's for my family. I'm finally gonna go over what happened last year." And the whole drama was they just wanted to fuck a young man's career because they didn't like him or were jealous. Like, it's not like you were some kind of hero coming out of, the heavens to grace us with this apology video and an explanation. Like, it just made no sense, and the apology video is super boring. I definitely think this is a D tier, for sure. The last one we'll be covering on the tier list today is Daddy05's apology. For those that don't remember Daddy05, you're very lucky. Daddy05 was a YouTube channel where a man and wife were abusing their kids for YouTube views. They were absolutely horrible to their own kids, one in particular where they would mistreat them for the sake of YouTube pranks. It was absolutely disgusting. It was truly abominable shit that went on for way too long, flying under the radar. It finally picked up steam and things were finally settled, where I believe that kid that was singled out and picked on the most was taken out of their care, thankfully, and their channels were shut down. So luckily it had a happy ending, but Daddy05, before the end, before the ship finally sank, made an apology video And he still doesn't quite understand what people had an issue with. His apology doesn't address the blatant abuse that they filmed and posted. They would mistreat their kids for all to see, and yet they couldn't register it. They called them jokes and pranks and that people just didn't get it. And then their apology, they're like, well, if I didn't know these people, I'd think it was bad too. But knowing us, we know it's not bad, and the kids like it. So in the apology, it's basically them just saying, you have to know us to understand it. And the fact you don't know us, yeah, I guess we understand why you thought we were actually horrible fucking parents. But there's nothing joking when kids are getting tossed around, yelled and screamed at, lied to, forced to stay home on adventures just because they didn't like the kid. Like, it's terrible, terrible shit. And I actually think it is genuinely evil. So I'm super glad that Daddy05 no longer exists, but the apology video is still out there. And for that, the Daddy05 apology goes into F tier because it's absolutely just disgusting. It really is. That whole channel was unbelievably bad. Really bad shit. So these are the 10 apologies we wanted to cover on the tier list. I think these were really the 10 biggest ones that I could recall. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Well, well, well. What a day. This was quite a shocking twist here, like a Darman climax. We had YouTube finally issue a statement on what they're doing about the SSSniperWolf doxing situation, and we had SSniperWolf herself, the life of the party, come forward and make an apology post. And what a wacky ride it's been. And in the wise, timeless words of Captain Barbossa, you best start believing in cringe stories. You're in one, because this is an absolute fucking headache. I know I don't really need to give you any kind of lore breakdown to bring you up to speed because of how huge this story's become, but it just doesn't feel right if I don't at least set the table with some silverware, just in case you're a little hungry and don't know what's going on. So, the briefest bullet points. Jax Films is a huge YouTuber. He called out another huge YouTuber named SSSniperWolf for her reaction content to TikToks where she was basically just blatantly stealing it, not really transforming it, and he criticized her for it. He even made a whole channel dedicated to making fun of her and criticizing her for it further. So this led to this big stew of emotions and bad blood between the two of them. The stew bubbled over and started to spill when SSSniperWolf decided to dox Jax Films on her Instagram story where she showed up at his house and posted his house to her 5 million followers on Instagram, which obviously you can't do. That's a criminal act. SSniperWolf shows up at Jax Films' door like the fucking hash-slinging slasher here, trick-or-treating when she wasn't invited, and claims that she was just trying to talk it out like adults, even though this is not how adults handle any kind of situation. You can't just dox someone that you have beef with online. So the question then became, what is YouTube going to do about it? Because not only is this not allowed legally, it's not allowed on YouTube's terms, period. And historically, YouTube has been cutthroat with this kind of thing. They do not take doxing lightly. So it's been about a week, and YouTube has finally broken their silence on what they plan to do. And man, what a fucking stinker. Boy howdy, it would be less smelly in a porta potty. Take a peek at their tweet here. Today they spat this drivel out, confirming SSSniperWolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk harm our community, and the behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this convo to a better place. They actually just unironically dropped a both sides in this situation. That is one of those things where you read it and it's like a flashbang hits you, like all your senses go out and you have to question if what you just read was real. I don't even know how they were able to reach deep enough in their ass to pull out a both sides statement for this one. Like, what did he do wrong? I don't know why they're trying to make it sound like he's also guilty in this, or maybe even, somewhat responsible and to blame for how this played out, which is kind of how it reads, like they're fucking victim blaming him here. Like, what was his crime? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? This is democracy manifest. That's a classic Charles Doza line. I just had to slide in there. That just felt natural. But yeah, again, what did Jax Films do wrong? He is completely blameless here. There's no reason why they should be trying to make it sound like Jax Films did something wrong. His only crime was being alive, which gave her the means to target him. Like, I really can't wrap my head around how they could even make it seem like Jax Films is even remotely in the wrong here. If they're trying to say that the criticisms that he keeps tossing towards SSSniperWolf is unwarranted, so the behavior is unacceptable, then that's even more delusional, because there's nothing wrong with criticisms. There's nothing wrong with making fun of SSSniperWolf's content. He has literally done nothing that warrants any level of blame or warrants this kind of response from SSSniperWolf to fucking dox him and publicly dox him and show up to his house. This was YouTube's chance for a big W here to finally prove they don't play favorites even with their most lucrative cash cows. This is one of those actions where it should have resulted in a harsh punishment, and YouTube had the opportunity to showcase, listen, we're gonna put the rumors to bed once and for all. There's no favoritism on this platform. We all play by the same rules. We all, put our pants on one leg at a time. SSniperWolf is getting punished for doxing. We don't take it lightly. But they didn't. They were extremely slow and very clearly extremely reluctant to take even the lightest bit of action against her. A temporary monetization suspension isn't the harshest punishment in the world. It is still a punishment, yes, but it's still more of like a slap on the wrist. We don't know how temporary it is. It could be like a fucking 10-hour monetary suspension. Like, this is actually the scene in SpongeBob. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Shuts the door. Okay, you're free to go. And it's like just 2 seconds has elapsed. It's just not really what most people would have expected from this, because it's not really enough for most people, given the gravity of the situation here, where Jax Films and his wife don't feel safe in their own home as a result of all of this. So this seems like a situation that they did just because they felt like they had to. There was too much backlash for them to continue to bury their head, so they did like the teeniest, tiniest little tiptoe into the pool of punishment, and they issued this temp monetization halt on SSSniperWolf's content. I imagine once all of this blows over, they'll flip it back on and it'll be back to business as usual for SSniperWolf and YouTube. I'm sure she'll RSVP at the next, creator summit for YouTube. Like, it's just not really satisfactory for the majority of people here. And to top it all off, it's the way YouTube delivers it. Again, trying the both sides thing is just, it's so crazy and delusional. Now, SSniperWolf did also issue an apology post. She couldn't even be bothered to do an apology video. She put it on Twitter, which is by far her least large platform, to try and keep as many eyes off of it as she can from her audience. So, at least as of right now, as of me making this, she hasn't made an apology video for her actual core audience to see. The timing of her apology statement is also very interesting because it comes almost immediately after YouTube's post. So this leads me to believe that SSniperWolf and YouTube had some kind of handshake agreement where it'll be like a light punishment as long as she makes an apology on Twitter, and she obliged. Let me start by saying I'm sorry for my most recent actions. It is inexcusable. I'm sorry to Jax Films, YouTube, the entire creator community, and my incredible fans for not being a better example for appropriate conflict resolution. Jax Films, while we certainly don't see eye to eye and have our differences, I'm sorry for reacting the way I did when I should have taken the opportunity to show young creators how adults and professionals resolve conflict by communicating directly, respectfully, and privately. Not for views or content, but a meaningful example of how conflict should be solved. I will reach out directly and hope we can find some time to connect and communicate respectfully. I'd also like to thank YouTube for holding me accountable. I deserve it. Respect the decision and appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow from a true lapse in judgment. I don't really have too many thoughts on her apology. Anytime I even hear the phrase or read the phrase lapse in judgment, I just immediately think of the Logan Paul apology video. But there's really nothing she can say here. What she's done is absolutely indefensible. It's also very unlikely that she's being genuine here. Like, I don't think she feels remorse for it or anything. She did immediately make light of it by saying, "We pull up to your house, what are you going to do?" on her Instagram story following all of this. So this really does seem like this was kind of forced on her by YouTube. Not even the backlash from her audience or everyone online. I think she still believes that what she did is okay. It's just YouTube made her do this. That's my working game theory here. That's the impression I get. When she says thanks to YouTube for holding her accountable, that seems really fake. YouTube isn't really holding her accountable. temporarily suspending her monetization is a punishment, sure, but it's not exactly one that fits the crime, which is why so many people are dissatisfied with this whole situation and the way that it's concluding here. Unfortunately, it does seem like this is where the situation is wrapping up, and I don't think a lesson has been learned by SSSniperWolf nor by YouTube. I truly think that all of the backlash over the last week, the millions upon millions of people that have been talking about it nonstop, did not matter at all to either party. They just felt at some point, okay, fine, we'll do a little something so you guys can just shut up about it. And that's what we saw today. Pretty disappointing stuff overall. That's about it. So yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's Critical. I'm making this to say that I'm sorry. I was wrong. I fucked up. Last year, T. Martin made an apology video where he almost kind of apologized for scamming 8-year-olds into wasting money on his shit-ass CSGO website, and I called it the worst apology video that could have ever been made, and I was wrong, because Social Repos has blown that shit out of the water with this new humdinger here. So this man right here who looks like Marilyn Manson's asshole is a YouTuber by the name of Social Repos, and he was dating another YouTuber named Jacqueline Glynn, and he cheated on her, and obviously she's very upset, so she made a video about the whole situation to update people, and that prompted him to make his own response to it, and it's fucking abysmal. I'm not going to make the bold claim I did last year and say it's the worst that could be ever given on this site, but damn, you're going to have a hard time topping this one. You've got your work cut out for you if you're trying to make a bad apology this year.
Yeah, I fucked up. I'm definitely going to lose some fans. I'm going to lose some friends. But there's two sides to every story. I wouldn't really call this a defense.
Yeah, you're right. This can't be a defense because there's no way you could defend yourself here. But that doesn't stop him from trying. He's out here looking like the Joker about to deliver a monologue. You want to know how I got this gonorrhea?
So I guess I would like to explain some things. All the brutal graphic details that she explained to everyone. So I'd like to give some very descriptive details of my own. Not to slander Jacqueline or anything, just to kind of, I guess, give you a deeper context.
But why? How could having a deeper understanding of the context provide any type of justification for the cheating? I doubt it was some type of heroic sacrifice where the girl you fucked had a bomb in her pussy that would destroy the city if you didn't defuse it by sticking your cock in there. It really just seems like he's doing this out of spite because Jacqueline went into such brutal detail as he described, so he kind of just did this to try and throw some shit at her that would make her look kind of bad. He actually even deleted her comment on this video. I don't know entirely what the comment said, I just saw a picture of it and I only got a little snippet, but it was her kind of disproving some of the points he's about to make. And naturally, if you're making an apology to someone, the next logical step is then to remove that comment from the person you're apologizing to really let them know that you're sorry.
I do deeply regret it.
Honestly, some pretty shitty acting from him during this arc of the anime. It sounds like some House of the Dead 2 voice acting here.
It kind of was a classic case of social media, showing the best parts of your relationship on social media, so everyone thinks everything's just peaches and roses all the time, and it's just not. It's a lie. We were happy, but there's obviously a dark side to everything, clearly.
I truly have no idea what point he was trying to make with this here. Oh, just a classic case of us showing the best parts. None of you had any ideas I was actually cheating on her behind her back. Just a classic case of one of those things, you know?
Because I did cheat on her, just like I did my ex-girlfriend, which everyone knows about because of our best friend.
I don't really see what there is to giggle about there. Oh, ha ha ha, you guys remember when I did this last time? Thanks to our best friend that blew that case wide open. Ha ha ha, classic best friend. Yeah, I betrayed a lot of people. Ha ha ha.
I met Jacqueline, and she was perfect. She was an atheist. She cared so much about me and just everything that I did, and I did care about her. And I don't know, everything just made sense.
I cut a few things out here, but it really served no purpose. I don't even see why he would talk about it unless he was really trying to stretch this video past 10 minutes for ad revenue, which would be an incredibly douchebaggy thing to do, but I wouldn't put it by modern YouTube creators. What he was saying is he vowed never to have another public relationship since he cheated on his last girlfriend, but then he met Jacqueline, obviously had a public relationship. And he also talked about another promise he made a while back where he said he would never ever cheat on anyone ever again, and he was wrong. Just like my father when he said I would be 6'5" when I grew up. My dad is 6'5", my mother is 5'2", so luckily I split the fucking difference and I'm 5'6", so I'm really short for a 23-year-old man, and it really fucking sucks. Why couldn't I be 6 foot, Dad? Huh? Why couldn't I at least get close to your 6'5" towering Chad height? But anyway, I love this line from Social Repos. She was perfect. She was an atheist. What a low bar of entry to being perfect in this man's eyes. In this moment, I am euphoric because girl atheism. Yippee. Fucking, I don't know anything about these two, and I'm sure Jacqueline's a great girl for a lot more than just being an atheist. I imagine there's gotta be a lot more to somebody to make them perfect than just being a fucking atheist. But for some reason, this man cares so little about her, he couldn't think of any more good qualities other than her atheism. That's just fucking sad, really.
And she kind of took me on with the thought that she could fix me, and that, you know, there's a lot of good parts that she saw in me. And you know, I commend her for that, but at the same time, you know, everyone did warn her, and...
What an ironclad defense, fucking bulletproof. Jacqueline, you knew what you were getting into. People warned you. You should have expected this from me. You knew this was going to happen. You shouldn't have been surprised. You knew I was going to put my small pee-pee into other lady buttholes. This shouldn't have come as a surprise. This is your fault. It's incredible. He kind of just blames her for this whole thing happening. You should have expected it. This was going to happen, and people told you.
Unbalance in the relationship even early on, which terrified me, and I could never bring it up to her. All the way, we dated for 11 months, and I could never talk to her about it just because I was so afraid, because she got so attached to me so quickly. She was just, it's almost like she just, after month 2 or 3, she was like ready to settle down with me and ready to get a house, and it just seemed so perfect, and I was like, what are you doing? What do you...
From the comment Jacqueline left, the snippet I saw, this is the part she was disproving. Apparently this wasn't a thing that happened. It was him that brought up the idea of moving in together or some shit. It doesn't really matter either way who's right or wrong on that subject, because this point is just moot. It serves absolutely no purpose in this video. It looks like this man's skin is about to fall off of his fucking body here. He's like a reptilian shedding here. His flaky, dry skin, I think he's suffering from extreme psoriasis or something, but this man needs some moisturizer ASAP. His face just must be made out of paper mache, and it's starting to crack now.
I just would like to say that I'm sorry to anyone that looks up to me or that follows me.
Well, I'm glad you've apologized to the misguided teenagers that for some reason think you're a good role model. That's very nice of you. How about an apology to Jacqueline? At no point throughout this entire thing does he say, I am sorry for what I did, Jacqueline. I didn't hear that phrase. If you're gonna apologize, fucking apologize. Here, take some notes to any of you out there that may have fucked up and are thinking about doing a YouTube apology video. A, don't do that. And B, if you really feel so inclined, the Lord has chosen you to make this great apology video, then do these things. Actually apologize for it. Say you fucked up and you're going to work on fixing it. Tell how you're going to work on fixing it. And again, apologize for the fucking thing that happened. This man goes on a 10-minute rant about shit that doesn't matter. The next part of this he talks about is content on his channel. Why? What is the point? The video is supposed to be an apology to Jacqueline about what happened. I cut a lot out to this point, but basically he drew the conclusion that he shouldn't be in relationships, he's not good at them. He also speculates that maybe he has a sex problem and should get help, but then says he doesn't believe in getting help. So about 9 minutes of this 10-minute video are just empty, useless words. He could have bent over and just farted into the camera for 9 minutes and it would have had the same impact to the shit he talks about in here. Fucking useless.
And it's clearly I'm a careerist. I'm so deeply entrenched in social repose just as an entity that it comes first. It comes before all my love and relationships and even family to an extent. This is my life. I've chosen it, and I put my all into it.
Oh, you poor hero. All the sacrifices you made to make mediocre YouTube content. Goddamn. My hat's off to you, Social Repos. If only we Cro-Magnon understood what it meant to be in your shoes, all of the women you've had to fuck behind your girlfriend's back. Damn, we would have so much more appreciation for the art you create here. You certainly are an expert careerist by cheating on a YouTube personality that's pretty fucking big, and then taking all of this negativity to your channel, losing a lot of subs. Man, you've really got careerism figured out, Social Repos. Take notes out there, any up-and-comers. This man's got it down to a science.
I'm a little hurt that she kind of broadcasted everything. I'm not hurt that she talked about the cheating. I knew she would have to talk about that at some point, but to go into such graphic detail feels a little unnecessary. But it's out there, so.
Oh damn, now I feel bad. He's hurt that she talked about it to such an extent. I mean, there was a set amount that he was okay with and that he would have given his blessing to, but to go past that, that's a bit disrespectful, Jacqueline. You really hurt his feelings with this. I hope you understand. And honestly, he made such a convincing argument. I'm convinced he's the victim in all this. Jacqueline made it all public, and it really hurt his reputation.
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry. I'm sorry I let you guys down. I'm going to do better. I'm going to make more art and more music, and if you don't want to follow me anymore because you think I'm a shitty person, or because I'm disgusting, or because you can't stand the thought of ever watching me again because of what I did to Jacqueline, I can't make you stay, but I promise you I'll do better with my videos and my content, and I'm
Once again, just apologizing to the audience that found out, not to Jacqueline, but at least he's promising to do better with his content, so I'm looking forward to his Minecraft Let's Plays that he's going to steer towards. And yeah, just overall, an absolutely atrocious apology here. I cut a lot out, but there was a big rant about the content on his channel and how he was unsatisfied with it, so at least he understood what the big issue here, which was his content starting to slip up, not the cheating. That was just secondary. It's really all about the content, but he's promising to do better content, so yeah, that's about it. This guy seems like a big douchebag to me. So yeah.
I've thrown on the formal attire today because we need to discuss something very important. A huge loser named Bintellect. Big goofball, weirdo, lame-mo, behemoth creep. He is a big TikTok creator, and that's a word I'm using very loosely here, with 11 million followers, and I'm sure only people under the age of 10 have ever heard of him before. What he's become known for over the years is looking at tweets or comments, reading them out, and then going, yeah, that's literally it. But sometimes it's a little hard to even muster a laugh, so what he'll do is he'll read one of the comments and then go, yeah, true. And then that's the whole TikTok. But I'm not here just to give him a little wet willy and laugh at him for all of his cringe. I am here to talk about something far more degenerate. But before doing that, I'd like to give a quick honorable mention to something else this piss stain of a person is notorious for doing. Threatening legal action against people that make fun of him. I've seen a couple videos on Bintellect now after I've been informed of the situation, so I did a little digging. Apparently when people make fun of him, he gets super offended and will either try and copyright strike, take down the video, copyright claim it to make money from it, or even go as far as to just threaten to sue the person that made fun of him. You disgusting goblin, you make me sick. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Now, while I do think a legal battle with Benjamin over me making fun of him would be hilarious, I still just don't really feel like showing you any of his clips because it's just going to rot your brain and it's yucky. It's just trash. So, no reason for that. Let's get into what I want to discuss, the new information that came out about this weirdo. So, Bintellect recently made a podcast, I suppose, and he invited someone on named Jordan Max, and then things got really odd. He got super hostile, and she ended up posting about it, which led to this dam breaking, and we were flooded with cringe about Bintellect's behavior over the years with women. So this horny little goblin asks her before going on the podcast, do you want to make a video for OnlyFans? To which she says, when? He says, today. And then she's saying, no, you need to be tested within the last 14 days and have an OnlyFans creator account. But then he says, I mean a video for your page. Oh, what a benevolent saint. He was actually just thinking about her the whole time. He thought this would be a good opportunity for her to make some OnlyFans content with the great Big Bintellect. So she says, doing what? And he goes, I don't know what performs best on your page. I can literally see him doing this. Well, I mean, I don't know what we do. I mean, what do you do on OnlyFans? Maybe we could do that? So it's become pretty clear that Bintellect uses this podcast as a way of just fucking. It seems to me like the whole podcast existence is only here as a way of trying to get Bintellect laid. So he tries to leverage his big follower count to then invite on OnlyFans models and then ask if he can make content with them. It's pretty pathetic stuff, but we're only just beginning. He continues by saying, I was just thinking you're helping me with doing a video for my YouTube, so maybe I could help you with your OnlyFans. And she replies, I'm good, thanks. So then he goes, no worries. And then, hey, I'm going to do the pickle video with someone else, thanks though. To which she asks, why? So the pickle video he's referring to is the podcast was going to be a pickle tier list mukbang or something like that, a pickle mukbang. And it was her idea, it was Jordan's idea, and he's now kicking her out because she declined to do an OnlyFans video with him. So his answer to why was, to be honest, I thought it would just be fun to film and see where things go, but I got it. So he gets real sad and pitiful, like, no, I get it. I just thought it'd be fun, but clearly it won't be fun. I'm gonna do it with someone else then, how about that? So he goes real Neanderthal mode here. My wiener no get wet, we no eat pickle together on podcast. Goodbye. How dare you not do OnlyFan video with Bintellect? So then he says he's doing it with someone else. So Jordan, of course, gets really weirded out by this exchange. She posts it on Twitter, and then Bintellect himself, the man, the myth, the legend, reaches out in DMs to threaten to sue her if she doesn't take down the post. She even did a video proving that the DM is real from the real Bintellect account, just to 100% silence any possible doubt. Also, her response to it is great. She said, I will just be waiting to hear from your lawyers then, which is hardcore. Obviously, Bin's not going to sue her. I don't think he's ever actually gone through with a lawsuit. He uses it to try and bully people to do what he wants. To do what he wants them to do, rather. So, I don't think any lawsuit was ever coming. This was just a last-ditch Hail Mary from a desperate, lonely guy to try and get rid of the evidence of him being a creep. So, that was the whole interaction between Bintellect and Jordan, but after this tweet started popping off, well, the series of tweets started popping off, she then started getting DMs with more screenshots and more evidence of Bintellect doing this to tons of different women. This comes from someone else who had a very similar experience to Jordan. So Ben opens with, do you work tomorrow? They say, crazy busy day, but I don't work. And then Ben goes, let's make some content tomorrow. Not like that, but just film a podcast. So he immediately alludes to like, oh, not OnlyFans type content. I'm talking about just a wholesome podcast, one the whole family can enjoy. Doesn't get an immediate response, so he goes, what do you think? He then waits about 2 hours more and he goes, you're killing me, gorgeous. So fucking embarrassing, Jesus Christ, that's so fucking awful to read. Yucky. And then he gives her about 3 more hours and then he goes, you know what, I've been thinking about this OnlyFans thing, and I think I could make us a lot of money, straight up. And then she finally does reply saying that she's just been busy taking a mental health day. So he can't even go more than like 3 messages without bringing up OnlyFans. It seems like the only thing on this guy's mind is sex, and how he's never getting it, I guess, but is very desperate too, and will do it by any means necessary to try and achieve coitus. From everything I can tell, Bintellect has never done any kind of OnlyFans content on his own, or like any type of explicit content. He's just a professional TikTok giggler. All he does is giggle at Twitter messages or comments, and that's it. So clearly he's not wanting to dip his toes into OnlyFans for the sake of becoming like an OnlyFans creator. He just wants to have sex with these women. And he's using his podcast as a vessel to try and do that, it seems. After she told him about the mental health day she was taking, he responds with, hey, thank you. And then the following day at 6:52 a.m., so this guy must have been up all night masturbating, because it seems like that's the only thing on this dude's mind, he sends her a message saying, do you want to come over tomorrow night? Actually, are you down to come over tonight? Or are you just a flake? Doesn't even give her time to respond, just immediately gets combative. He immediately just goes into fucking ballistic bin mode. So you coming over tonight, or are you just a flake? Huh? Are you just a fucking succubus? Huh? Is that it? Huh? So you coming over tonight? And then he waits only like an hour and 40 after that, and then he's like, you know what? Okay, Jesus Christ. Yeah, sorry, babe, but you're just too much of a flake. Bye. So then obviously she's like alarmed, like what the fuck is going on? So she says, you know, if you wouldn't have texted me so rudely calling me a flake after 1 day of not texting you, you might have stood a chance. I can see why you're single now. Goodbye. Which really just sends Ben off the rails. Yeah, whatever, go fuck yourself. Says the girl who's trying to make an OnlyFans. Good luck. Brother, all you talk about is trying to do OnlyFans content with them. It seems like you're trying desperately to get into OnlyFans but keep getting rejected and can't handle it. So how can you have the gall to try and shame them for it when you are desperately trying to do it yourself? Here's a wacky little Snapchat one. Do you want to come over here and spend some time with me? Because on a side note, I do think I could probably make us some money on OnlyFans. Bintellect fucks crazy into oblivion. That's redacted right there, like a CIA document. I really wonder what he said. I think it's Bintellect fucks crazy pussy into oblivion or something, but I'm just going off of what I can see poking out from underneath the redaction. I think that's what it is, but this is so goofy. He's speaking about himself in the third person in this one, and then he even tries bribery. If you come over, I'll give you $1,000. I just really want you. And they respond, I'm good right now. Don't try to bribe me with money. That's weird. And then he's like, no, that is weird, but I want to see you. This one's a lot more vintage bin. So this was a different kind of relationship these two had as opposed to just the podcast OnlyFans hustle he keeps trying to run. So they start by saying, I guess it's just not meant to be. Bin says, facts, no hard feelings, but yeah, it ain't working. So then they part ways, or so it would seem. Bin has a couple of parting words here. He says, for your future self, if you're going to turn around on a guy and say, hey, I'm not down for friends with benefits shit, just say that before you go through all the bullshit. Boring as fuck. Not my problem that you turned around and quit drinking because you're an alcoholic and now pass out at 8 p.m. Fucking peace out, bitch. So Ben really, he went crazy. Ben lost it. This man, he was punching pillows, sending these texts with tears in his eyes, and he got real nasty. They respond to it saying that they're far from an alcoholic, and then Ben just keeps going crazier saying, no, you're an alcoholic, and you're full of shit. And then he's like, anyway, I'm done. I just had to say that because you're full of shit. They respond saying that they weren't interested in being with Ben, and he should have taken the hint a while ago, but then Ben he goes absolutely berserk again. She says that she's wasting people's time and that she needs to just shut up and go to bed. And then she says, it sounds like you need some anger management help, which is a very fair assessment. I think he desperately needs some assistance with this anger management. And then Ben tries to flip this shit around like, how dare you? Are you kidding me? So he goes, be careful who you say that to, Maria, because there are people who really need help with that. So Ben lets out a gasp. That's super disrespectful to say that to somebody, and also a very basic-ass bitch thing to say. Benjamin, it's a very fair thing to say here. It's not disrespectful. You legitimately need some help. It very much seems like you do. So then he goes, there's a reason you've been single for this many years, and it's because no one wants you, and no one cares about you. You're full of shit. Basic, boring loser. He just goes on, and even has this little monologue here that ends with him saying, God help any guy that you gets involved with that loose pussy because you're just lame. Mic drop ho. This guy just typed out mic drop ho. He just typed that out. He's over 30 years old. I think he's like 34 years old or something like that. I already forgot. This is a 30-something year old man, and he just typed out mic drop ho. To which she responds, I'm sure your TikTok fans will love the way you talk to women when I post these screenshots. And then he's like, you know what? Good luck. I stand by every single word that I just said to you. So, did he stand by every single word that he said? Let's look at his initial apology, which he deleted pretty shortly after posting it, and then also hid replies on. Let's look at his first apology. I've recently been accused of some heinous actions and would like the opportunity to share my disgust at these accusations. I'm a firm believer in the rights and equality of all humans, including women. If that's not the biggest red flag immediately, I don't know what else is. I stand by the rights for all humans, and that does include women. Those creatures. I am including them in that statement because that's the kind of angel I am. It makes it sound like he's drawing a distinction between women and every other human on the planet, like they're a totally separate species that aren't included in humanity. What an absolute incomprehensible weirdo. I grew up in a home with 3 sisters and no brothers, so I learned very early on the importance, power, love, and abilities women have. They deserve to be cherished and uplifted and treated with respect, and that's how I live my life. I do not condone the statements or accusations that have suddenly been hoisted upon me, and I hope to speak to anyone who feels they have been wronged. He's actually going with the, I have sisters. I can't hate women. I have sisters. No. I have 3 sisters. You guys don't understand. I could never do this to women. Like, you're misunderstanding. These are all baseless accusations. I have 3 sisters. I legitimately cannot be mean to women. And not only do I have 3 sisters, but my mother is also a woman. So you should see how ridiculous these claims are now, knowing this context with my 3 sisters and mother. So that should hopefully clear up all of the air here with these accusations. Like I mentioned, he did delete this apology post, but today he did release a new apology on TikTok. He released an apology video, so let's take a peek at that. Also, Ben, I know you're still watching. You probably plan on suing me if I show your apology video because you've employed this tactic before against other YouTubers. If they've shown clips of your content to make fun of you, you allege that it's stealing your work and you have a legal ground to take it down and come after them. You don't. That's not how that works. Me showing this is not any kind of violation in any way, shape, or form. So if you do try and sue me or copyright claim this video, copyright strike the video, anything like that, I will 100% respond with every single option at my disposal in order to follow this legal case through to its fullest conclusion. So let's check out your apology, brother.
Hey guys, there's a lot being said about me on the internet right now, and I just wanted to clear the air. The first thing I want to say is I'm sorry to anyone that I've made feel uncomfortable.
I love how nonchalant he is about this whole thing, just trying to downplay the situation. Like, if I made any of you feel a bit icky, a little uncomfy, I'm super sorry. That wasn't my intention. You must have misunderstood. It's not what I'm about. When in reality, he would snap, get aggressive, hostile, combative anytime he was denied sex.
I want to say to any girl who I've been rude to, whether through text or in person, that I'm sorry. I understand that me being sorry does not excuse that kind of behavior. I will continue to work on myself and do better. Thanks, guys.
Behold, the first AI ChatGPT written apology. This just ticked every basic box. There's really nothing of value here at all. Just like the quickest, weakest apology. And he's just going to go forward doing his little, look at this tweet. Like nothing ever happened. So that's kind of where everything's at. Dog shit apology, dog shit situation. This guy is a big old loser. So let's use this as a learning opportunity for anyone watching. Don't be like Bintellect. That's really about it. See ya.